Hi. Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome back to the page, Chit Chat with Tumeka Moletsane. My name is Tumeka Moletsane, and welcome back to the page where we're discussing anything and everything that is making everyone out there uncomfortable. And obviously, for the past week, we've embarked on a journey of anxiety, and we're still continuing with that series. And I was actually thinking that initially I said it will be a 6-part series, but I've gone back to the drawing board basically, and I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, we might stretch it out a little bit longer, but we'll see. I'll share more as to what topics I want to uncover, and I would love for people to engage and actually just to, if you want to be part of this forum, you want to go live as well and just discuss your journey, I'm more than welcome to take those ideas in, so please feel free. I'd like to say thank you to everybody who has shared the content on the page, who has followed, who has liked the page. It's growing, and I couldn't be happier, and thank you so much. And to the people that they're like, thank you for sharing this and relating. It's amazing. That's all I want to do. I want to make everybody uncomfortable to share their own journey and to actually just acknowledge some of the things. It's only when someone start talking about their own personal things you're like, wow, actually I can relate to that. So thank you so much, and continue to support, continue to like, follow, and just engage on the channel. That is fantastic. So we've been chatting. We had 2 videos before. I would encourage you to go and watch the first 2 videos if you're new to the page. It's going according to a sequence, and in order for you to follow where we are, you need to go watch the first video basically. So today's topic that we're talking about is the support structure, the importance of a support structure for someone with anxiety, and how you can actually educate people around you about your sickness. So even if you actually are not suffering from anxiety, I actually think this specific video is very important to you, because so often, like, people want to support you but they don't know how to go about doing that. And actually, I think this video is going to question you as to what kind of a family member are you, what kind of a partner are you, what kind of a friend are you, and what kind of a colleague or boss are you. Are you actually supporting people with mental illness, and do you actually know if the people in your organizations are actually suffering from mental illness? So I have my little pink book here. Obviously, I do prep for the videos to a certain extent. I do just kind of, because I've gone through this for over a period of a year, some things are not happening anymore. So I need to always jog my memory as to, oh, what had happened. So I do some a little bit prep. I respect you guys. So I kind of went about and structuring how my support structure works. So this is my support structure. So you can do a process of elimination where you're saying, okay, I don't have this person in my life, and just cancel to a point where you narrow down your crowd and say, okay, these are the people I have in my life. So I'm going to try to keep this video short. I know I've been saying that, but it's just that this is so important to me that I think if it's important to you, you are going to invest in it. But I do respect your data, guys, and some people don't have the means to have the data to actually watch such long videos. So I'm going to try to keep it short. I will try my best. But if you've watched the full content of the other videos, great, perfect. Thank you so much. I do appreciate it. So my support structure consists of my family. It consists of my partner. It consists of my friends. It consists of work in general. And it consists of me. It's very important that you acknowledge the fact that you are a support structure for yourself. So in terms of me as a support structure, I think only now am I a support structure to myself, because previously I think I was just consumed and overwhelmed by what was going on with me, that I couldn't actually support myself. It's over the last couple of months, actually, since I've been back and have acknowledged what's going on with me, and have accepted it, and kind of finding ways to deal with it, and just embracing it. Like, it's not going anywhere. So I need to kind of start moving away from from just not understanding. So only now I think I am a support structure. So I told you guys that I got sick for the first time in March 2019. And I think at that point, my support structure would have been my fiance, Keegan, because he's basically the only person I had in Ireland. Um, he was there when I had my first panic attack. He was there when I was developing all these symptoms. And it's sad because I didn't understand what was happening. He didn't understand what was happening. And the only way that a person can understand what is happening is if you talk. While I was going through that period of confusion with all these new things happening to me, when I had my first attack, and then when I started having the daily symptoms, I used to tell him that this is what's happening to me now, and I don't know how to deal with it. And it's not more so that I expected a response from him. It's more so that I needed to offload what was happening to me, and I needed someone else to have knowledge of what was happening with me. And his way of supporting me was actually going with me to my doctor's appointments. He was there when I had to go to all my tests. He was there. He was there when I would have a meltdown at work. Like, I remember this one time, I had a meltdown where I was sitting at my desk and just crazy thoughts started coming in. I rushed to a focus room, like a meeting room, and I told him I need you. So he came up. Luckily, we worked for the same organization. He came up to my floor, and just knowing that he was there was sufficient. And it's almost like a blessing and a curse, because it was a curse, but I've learned, I respect him so much. I respect that someone who did not understand what was happening with me was there for me, and I could actually find some comfort in knowing that I had the support structure. And there was a point in my life where I thought he's gonna leave me because this is too much for anyone. It's a mental illness, guys. But he was there at my doctor's appointment. He was there when I needed to talk to him about what was going on physically with me. He was there when I was crying uncontrollably for no reason, because when you're going through these stages, you actually find yourself in a trance of emotion that you can't even explain to anyone. But he knew. And his way of supporting me, it doesn't require much. It's just common things of asking, what can I get you? Like, what can I do for you? It's encouraging me to seek help. It's being there, physically being there. It's when he's not physically there, he's checking up on how I'm doing. I'll share later on actually how you provide support. It's not necessarily about you having the knowledge of anxiety that you can support someone. It's just knowing, it's just your presence and the person, and the fact that the person actually knows that I can count on this person to be there for me. I can count on this person when I cry. I know this person is there to offer a shoulder for me to cry on. That's basically all he had to do for me. He was just there. So that's the first support structure I had, that I could offload of him, and I could actually just open up and be very transparent. And now I know he's with me throughout knowing all of that. I didn't leave any details. He knows that I suffer from mental illness. He has accepted it. He knows that it's part of our relationship. Another important thing is that, because when you're going through a mental state, because anxiety is the fear of anything and looking out for signs of danger, he understood when I can't do date night. Because my life had to take a drastic turn. I had to stop some things I was doing. I had to adjust to how I was doing things. And he also needed to adjust and be in sync with me for that period. And he understood when I was in bed and I didn't want to move, because that's what my anxiety wanted at that point. And because I was going through it for the first time, he actually was willing to be there. Like, now things have turned so much, and I'm happy that he was patient enough to walk the journey with me. So, point that you need to take from this is that be the partner, and that is basically there's a light at the end of this. So just walk the journey with the person to a point where you guys reach the light. And now my dependency is still there. Like, when I sense that I'm coming up with a panic. I tell him, he holds my hand. He's still there, but now my reliance on him is less. So basically, that's what I'm saying. That as a partner, you need to be patient. Be patient. There is light at the end of the tunnel. So don't give up just yet and leave the person to deal with the mental illness on their own. Cool. That's now my partner. And then as I was going through this anxiety, obviously my family had to know that I was going to the doctor for all these things that I needed to do in order to actually know that there is nothing physically wrong with me. And it in my case, I'm sad I went through it without my family, because I was all the way in Dublin and the only person I had was Keegan. So I would call my sister, I would call my mother and tell them, okay, I went to the doctor for this and this is what happened. And they encouraged me to actually, take that step of actually going through these things and going through the doctor. They were in support of me. Initially, my mother was like, no, it's a family thing. They called it umbilini. Basically that feeling of, oh, something is wrong or something is coming up. It's been in your family for years, whatnot. And now obviously if it has been in the family for years, it's possible for mental illness to be in the family for years. It's just that it was not attended to. But then I was educating her that this is the journey and the path that I'm walking. So yes, it's you saying it's something that happened in the family, well, good or all good and well, but then what has been done about it? So you need to actually just check if mental illness does not run in the family. I don't know who had it in my family, but all I know is that nothing was ever done about it. But now, having explained to her that, no, mama, this is what I'm going through and then this is what I'm doing, she was supportive of the fact and actually realizing that I am taking this very seriously. I do not want to conform to things that says it was done like this. That's it. That's me. I don't conform. So they were there whenever I needed them to be there in terms of a call. Now my sister is here with me in Cape Town and she understands when I tell her my anxiety skyrocket. And basically her support structure is to ask me, like, what can I do for you? Do you need anything? Those things are very important. Don't underestimate the power of asking someone, what can I do for you? So get on the call your sister, call your brother and ask them, is there anything that I can do for you? So family, that's my support structure. And now we move to, I want to leave friends for last, because this is for me, it's very important, that piece of friendships. So the next structure that you would have is work. The organizations that we work for, they pride themselves in how they are mentally health aware. So it's mental health awareness. They pride themselves about that. So now this is a test whether they actually are fully invested in your mental health. So with me, when this thing happened, I was going through busy season at work and I kept it to myself. So work didn't know that I was dealing with this thing. And then I went through the busy season period and I was going through emotions at work. But the nice thing is that my job, when I said audit is very flexible, I had the option of working from home. So when I did feel as though I was not in the emotional state of dealing with people, I did work from home. However, it got to a point where I just couldn't anymore. I remember this day, I think it was a Monday, I had so much I was emotionally overwhelmed. There was nothing specific that triggered my anxiety at work that day, but I went to the lead partner, who was also my counselor at the time. So at work, we get allocated someone above you in terms of work. So he was a partner, I was a manager. So he was basically my support structure. So I went to him and I told him that I am going through a difficult time. I was diagnosed with anxiety a couple of months ago and I need time off to go work on my emotional well-being. And he was shocked at that. I have gone through all these months with the amount of work that I had with me without saying anything. And he asked me, why didn't you say anything? Like, why why did you think that you needed to go through this on your own? And he said to me, here in this organization, we pride ourselves of our people. We put our people before our work. I fully understand that not all organizations are like that. But if your organization is actually priding themselves in mental health, in as they go through these phases, when it's mental health month, they put the posters up that focus on your mental health. This is your time to actually put that into use. Just test them, speak to your people and tell them, I'm going through the most. There is no way you can actually deliver at work if your well-being is not being taken up, is not being well taken care of. So with me, I confronted the problem. I told them that this is what's happening. They gave me time off. And really, in that time, they went back and revisited my portfolio and re-looked at whether they needed to offload some things off me. They didn't take it as a sign of I was weak. They didn't take it as a sign that now I can't be measured against my peers. I was still a 2 rating. A 2 rating is a rating, that's good. So I work my butt off so that I could actually, if you work hard enough, then they do tend to acknowledge. But if you don't work hard enough, then you need to actually put it out there to them that I actually am dealing with this. And they actually take that into account in assessing you, in actually giving you work. It's not being considered as a sign of weakness, I don't think. But obviously, again, you need to actually look at your surroundings, your environment. You need to actually speak up. I think all organizations, they talk about how they invest in mental health being of their own employees. So just take advantage of that and actually challenge them. And if your organization doesn't have that, why can't you be the person who actually says, boss, I think we need to have a drive where we actually discuss and talk about mental illness. You could be that person who brings the change that's about needed in where you work. But obviously, I am not going to go into deep details about how it has been. Now that I have been back, the current employer that I'm with, I don't know if they know that I have mental illness. I haven't opened up about it, mainly because of COVID. I've been working from home, and I think my stress levels have been well managed this year because obviously I understand what I'm going through. But they did send an email last week to say there's a mental health thing that's happening, which I'm attending. So those kind of initiatives that they're taking, they make me think that, okay, if I were ever to be in a situation where I can't physically and mentally deliver my work, then I would know that they would be there to support me. And I think my mental illness has changed my management structure as well at work. Um, I'm not a boogeyman when it comes to work. I am so not a boogeyman when it comes to work. I respect the people that work for me, and I respect them in the sense that I put their well-being in front of anything. So I always ask them, like, if I allocate work to you, are you able to deliver? That's very important. You need to ask people that you're working with, are you able to deliver? You don't know what people are going through. And if a person is not delivering, you need to ask, like, get to know the person and actually just ask them, what are you going through? That way, you're investing in your team. Your team understands that they can come to you when they are not coping. So it has changed my management structure. Like, guys, so it has changed the way I manage my teams. I think I'm a really, I'm quite a, I'm overall well balanced to understand that apart from work, we have other things outside us that are happening. So that's me, that's my management style, and that's the work element. So speak up and just be a support structure as well to someone who's actually dealing with this at work. Just change your mindset a little bit. People shouldn't be scared to come to you and tell you, dude, I am going through the most. I am going through a season that my head is not doing so well. So that's the work element. And then there's the friend part. This makes me question sometimes what kind of a friend I am. I'm also guilty. My circle of friends is very small. And the one thing that I like about my friends is that I don't need to talk to my friends on the daily for them to know that I'm their friend. I like that they don't need attention. But at the same time, it's bad because I don't know what they're going through on a daily. So there's a good and a bad part about it, that I do check up on them. I do check up on my friends, but then I don't know if I do it enough. This part, I have had to keep my circle of friends small. And I'm reluctant to make new friends. Like I'm at a point that I don't want new friends, because the friends I have now, they understand what is going on with me. And they understand how to deal with it, kind of thing. So the fact that now I need to make a new friend and then have to appease and please them, I can't. So the kind of friends that I have, they understand what I am going through. They understand when I can't make it to gatherings. They understand when I can't be there for them. They understand when to be there for me. I respect the importance of things they go through, and I shake the anxiety off when I need to be there for my friends. But fair on the other side, that they know that I can't be there for them all the time. So, what kind of a friend are you? Are you the friend who's supporting your friend when it's time to go out, have lunch, do all the fun things? Or are you the friend who supports your friend when they're lying in bed with their emotions all over the place? You need to be both. That's how, for me, I have learned to assess the friends that I need in my life. And the friends that I have in my life right now are the friends who I know that I can pick up the phone and say, friend, let's go do this. In the same context that I can pick up the phone and tell them, friend, I'm not emotionally okay. I need you. So, luckily for me, I do have a friend who's going through a similar thing as me. She's also going through the most. We're going through the most together. So she knows I always pick up the phone. I don't want to say her name because I didn't run it past her to discuss it in this forum. However, she is the person who I'm going to ask on the 6th episode that can she be on this platform with me. So you'll meet her. So I leverage off her very, very, very much. She is my support structure in this, and she is the person who I spoke to when I was contemplating whether I should go on medication. She was already on medication, and we spoke about it, and she understands what I'm going through. I understand what she's going through. When the going gets tough, we pick up the phone and say, friend, I'm going through A, B, and C, and we both understand and we support each other. However, I have the group of friends as well. I have friends that are not going through this as well. However, they do know how to be there for me. They know that they don't need to understand anxiety in context in order to be there for me. It's just those random texts, friend, how you doing? Friend, is there anything I can do for you? Friend, how is the medication treating you? They know what I'm going through. And just knowing that they can take a couple of minutes just to discuss how I am doing emotionally, I think that's sufficient. Like, I had such a nice conversation on Thursday with someone that it was the first time we actually had a conversation. And she was telling me what she was going through as well. And we got on so quickly because we had something in common. And it was such a nice conversation. I have those similar conversations as well with people that I don't know. I have those conversations, and I'll often just pick up from the vibe whether they're in tune with it or not in tune with it. My mission in life is to educate people about mental illness. I think that is why this thing has been instilled in me, in order to provide people with a platform to open about this. So my friends understand my emotional well-being. So now you need to question yourself. What kind of friends are you keeping in your lives? Your circle. The circle of friends that you have, are they the kind of people who will support you when you're laying in bed and not being able to wake up to function? Are they the kind of people who are going to pick up the phone and actually ask your friend, how you doing? Or are they people who, when you're going through the best of time, they're there to say, let's go out, let's do A, B, and C? You need to balance the scales with friendship. I actually think I'm at that point in my life, or at that age in my life, where I'm like, if you can't support me emotionally, you don't deserve to be my friend. I'm sorry. Like, you don't. So that's basically where I am. All the friends that I have, they're the friends I go through the best of times with and the worst of times. So I think you need to actually ask yourself whether you are supporting your friend enough. There's nothing wrong with it. You need to actually ask yourself, like, what kind of a friend are you? So that's the support structure: family, partner, work, and friends. And then there is you. Now you're going through anxiety. I actually think there is no way you can emotionally support yourself through anxiety at the beginning of it. It's only been the last couple of months as well where I can actually support myself. I can support myself. Like, now I've started a channel where I can actually talk about this. There is no way in December I could have been this confident to talk about anxiety. In order for you to support yourself, it's basically taking care of your well-being. So, are you letting anxiety bully you? Or are you actually doing something to ensure that anxiety doesn't bully you? I've taken a step to ensure that anxiety does not bully me. The first step that I did to support myself was to go through all those tests that I went through in order to rule out the physical or anything that was wrong with me physically. That was the first step. And I think at that point I was supporting myself because I was scared that something was wrong. So you've had your first panic attack, but do you actually know if it is panic attack or what? So you need to invest medically in your well-being. The second step that I took in order to take care of myself and to support myself was to go through for counseling. I went through five sessions of counseling, discovering new things about my emotional well-being, and actually discovering that I actually have a lot of emotional baggage. That is the second thing that I did. The third thing that I did was to actually educate people around me. So I spoke freely and openly about what was happening to me. Mainly because firstly, I was scared that I didn't know what was happening with me. And secondly, just so that they knew what I was going through. So that's the third thing I did to support myself. The fourth thing I did to support myself was to actually do as much research as I could about the options that I had. I remember I used to do yoga. Yeah, I used to do those YouTube video yoga things. Keegan bought me a mat, a yoga mat. I remember after work, I was out there doing yoga, freestyling yoga basically, because I needed a solution. I was doing meditation. I was doing breathing exercises, which I still do, by the way. I was doing breathing exercises so that I was investing in my mental well-being. But obviously when those things didn't work, or they didn't work as fast as I wanted them to, I did enough research to actually know about the type of medications that were there. So before I was put on medication, I knew what I was getting myself into. So that is also supporting myself, being educated enough to know about the options that are out there for me. So that's the fifth thing that I did. And the last thing that I did is this. I started talking about it. So I started talking about the journey that I've been through, and I started opening up that I actually have a mental illness. I think hiding your mental illness is the worst possible thing you can do for yourself. I keep preaching this. It is, because it's killing you, it's eating you, you're going through it on your own. Nobody is there to help you. So you need to support yourself by talking. You feel that layer of stress just falling away because you're talking about it. You're not talking to your mind, coming up with solutions on your own. And when you start talking about what you're going through, if you can pinpoint what the trigger of your anxiety is, and you start dealing with that emotions, talking about it, people start offering you solutions. Like now I'm talking about this, and maybe I am talking about something that you relate to, and that's also something that could help you. So now be that help for the next person. Talk about it. So that is how I have basically, walked through my journey. I had my family, I had my friends, I had my partner, I had work people, and I had me. Now, the sad reality is that some people don't have any of these things that I've mentioned. They have themselves. It's sad. So I'm saying I went through this journey and only now I'm supporting myself. But as a person who doesn't have all these other resources that I manage, how then do you deal with this thing? So there is a page that I'm going to recommend to you, and I'll share it as well on the group. It's the page of a guy who calls himself the anxiety guy. Wow. He says that he has dealt with his anxiety is healed. So he goes through his journey, but most so he talks about his recovery. He has podcasts, and he has a page on Facebook as well. So I think you need to go through his page as well, just to educate yourself a little bit more about the recovery and the journey that he has been. So there is forums that are out there that you can actually leverage off. I advise you to stay away from Google. Google's not good for you, but just stop relating to people's situations and making them your own, because there is no way that one thing can happen to the same person and it results in the same thing in this emotional mental journey. So I would say just find forums that are helpful for you, and obviously my forum that is out there to talk and discuss about these things. So we need to start opening up about what we're going through. So if you don't have this support structure, this is the page. My page is your support structure. I'm putting my services out there to talk to people who don't have a structure, so that I can provide the help that they need. So there is a system and a structure in place that's there to help you deal with this. Okay, now I'm trying to shorten this video as much as possible. So I did jot down some things here of how you, as a person who does not have anxiety, but you have a friend, a family member, a partner, a work colleague who's going through this thing, and you do not know how to support them, what I would say is that you need to tell them that you are there for them. That is sufficient. If a person tells you, listen, I'm going through this, just tell them, if you need anything, I am here to help you. Second thing that you can do is actually just ask, is there anything that I can do for you? When a person is going through that emotional state, just ask them, is there anything that I can do for you? If they're going through a happy state, still ask that question. The fact that I am happy or good, we're going out, doesn't mean that I'm okay. It doesn't mean that now my anxiety is gone. So be a support structure in good and bad times. Third thing that you can do for them is to just check in on them from time to time. I like my friends because they don't require my attention 24/7, just as much as I don't require their attention 24/7. But from time to time, we check up on each other to just check up how you're doing, how's life, catch up session, and all those things. I think right now, as friends, you also have enough of your own stuff to deal with. You can't be having your friend constantly on a 24/7 leash wanting attention. So as a person who's dealing with anxiety as well, just be reasonable to your friends. Don't expect them to drop everything whenever they need you, kind of thing. So you need to balance the scales basically. Okay, cool. And then I would say do research about anxiety. It doesn't mean spend hours on end just learning about anxiety, just a high level, so that you can relate and just offer, almost like have that general knowledge of what anxiety is. That way you relate to the person who's going through this thing, even if you have not physically experienced it yourself. Good. And now be patient as well. When we're going through this thing, sometimes we're going to talk, sometimes we're not going to talk. So be patient to someone who's going through anxiety. Don't snap at them. Like the minute you snap, for me, you're out of my life. Yes, you are out of my life. And you need to be patient because I'm going through the most. And remember, we dealt with this. Anxiety, you don't know what's triggering it. You actually don't even know what's happening. This emotion has taken over you. And now imagine someone is hounding you to actually say, what is wrong with you? A, B, and C, like they're all over you wanting to know. Give me space to actually deal with this before I can actually share it with you. So be patient. Okay, now I'm going through the emotional part of things. I have an anxiety attack. Be calm. As someone who's not having an anxiety attack, be calm. Tell me that everything is going to be all right. Because my head has told me that the worst is going to happen. Be that voice of reason at that point that tells me everything is going to be all right. That's how you support. Okay? And then, as someone who does not have anxiety, take care of yourself. I think when we start sharing the emotional baggage with people, it's a lot, guys. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in the emotional things that a person is going through and make it your own. It's so much. So please take care of your well-being so that we don't find ourselves in a point where we're both going through the most, we're both going through anxiety. And so take care of yourself. And lastly, ask them to get help. That is very important. Because had I not been in a position where Keegan said to me, you need to go to a doctor, I probably would never have gone to the doctor, or I probably would never had gone through those lengths. If I hadn't had a conversation with him about starting medication, I probably would have never actually been brave enough to actually go on medication. So ask the person to get help. And if you know more so of how they can go about getting that help, I've told you the tools. I've told you the tools: medical counseling, research, and medication if you need to, meditation, and being active. So all those things, they help. So if they don't know how to help themselves, provide them with the resources that they need. Tell them, I've read A, B, and C, and I think this is what you can try. So that is the things that you can do in order to support a person who's dealing with mental illness. I know I went very quickly on this, but happy for you to actually drop me a note if you actually think, okay, I've done this for my friend, but it didn't help. I've done this for my partner, but it didn't help. Or if you're someone going through anxiety and you feel as though your system or your support structure is not working out for you, I am providing my services to be that support structure for you. So that is how you actually build your support structure, and that is how you educate people around you about your mental illness, by talking. That is very important, guys. When I was talking to this person on Thursday, they said something that people always told her that she has she's so quiet, but yes, she's so confident. And she says, I am confident because I'm putting this mask on that says don't mess with me, because my emotions could erupt any moment. So be careful of your friends who are always so strong. Like, be careful of the people in your life that who are on a 24/7, they always strong. We say, oh, she's so strong, but do you actually know why they always feel the need to be strong? Like, why? It's not emotionally possible for you to be strong all the time. Like that, I can tell you, it's not possible. So check in on your strong friends. They could be going through the most. Okay, cool. So that's it for this week. I hope I've covered the points that I wanted to address. Again, video's long. I tried, guys. I tried. Like, at this point, I'm just like, okay, let's let it be. Let it be. If you can invest 45 minutes to watch a series, I think you can invest 45 minutes to watch this series. This series is good for your mental wellness. It's adding something to your life. It's adding someone to somebody's life. So please, guys, continue to share this video as well. Continue to share the page with your friends. I'll see you guys on Wednesday when we touch on the stigma around antidepressants. So the stigma around the medication that you need to maintain and control your anxiety, that's what we will be talking about. So please tune in on Wednesday when I drop the 4th video, and please continue to tell me how I'm doing. I really want to know, guys, where I can improve, where I'm doing the most, where I'm doing the least. Please feel free to reach out. I love feedback, so I would love to hear what you guys have to say. So enjoy Sunday with your families. The weather in Cape Town is doing the most, but anyways, enjoy your Sunday, guys, and stay safe. Stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.